All right, look, first and foremost, I want to shout out all the umbrellas, all my fans out there for what y'all just did. We #1 with the R&B capsule on the R&B charts of iTunes Music. We #1 on the R&B charts of Apple Music. What y'all did right there, what people don't understand, my music right now, the platforms got it in a way where when you look at the homepage of these platforms, you can't even find my music. You can't find it nowhere. It's as if I never even dropped nothing. So in order for people to actually have my music chart anywhere, they got to go search for it and individually look for my name and all kind of stuff like that. And it's crazy because they brought it to #1. But I just asked, like, at some point, when does this not seem to be unfair to y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like y'all are treating me as somebody that y'all think I am and not treating me as the person that I actually am. And that's not fair. Y'all don't know my life. Y'all know my music. My music is on the top of charts, which means there's a demand for my music. If there's a demand for my music, it's y'all job to curate that music to the people there's a demand from. That's all I ask, is treat me fairly.
What's good, my lady community? Welcome back to another lovely, beautiful, sexy, amazing video with the equally lovely, equally beautiful, equally sexy, and equally amazing LiTTy. You already know what time it is. Now let's go. Now, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now, guys, it seems that your boy Tory Lanez is getting the shortest end of the music stick in history. After his whole fiasco with Meg Thee Stallion, he dusted off all that abuse juice and he was ready to come back and make an impact, but this time in the R&B realm. Now, if you don't know, on New Music Friday, Tory Lanez dropped an album called Playboy, which I've heard is pretty fire and is very much an R&B sort of joint and all that. It's got all those type of vibes. You know, let me know if you guys want me to do a review on it because I'll be there. But unfortunately, it seems that this album is still getting blackballed by the music industry and all the music streaming platforms. And we're going to break down what this means, but you already know what you got to do. You just got to like, comment, subscribe so you can be up to date every time I drop a banger like this one. And hit that notey, because you ain't a nitty, so you can be the first to know when one of these videos comes out. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, as you can see from the video that I put at the start of this one, Tory Lanez was expressing his disgust at the fact that for the past 3 projects that he's dropped after the situation with Meg, the music streaming platforms have not been promoting his music in the same way that they used to, or in the same way that they would for anyone else. He's not been getting playlisted. He's not been getting any advertisements, any promotions. They've basically been shoving him under the rug like he's a disappointment child or something like that. And Tory hopped on IG and he had this to say: "I'm not trying to single out any platforms at all. I just ask that at this point I get treated fairly. As an independent artist and as a black business, I actively still make the platform's money with my music. So it should not be right." Oh, sorry. I can't just keep putting the emphasis on the capital. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't. It's taking its toll on me. "For any platform to censor and silence me from the editorial playlist or homepages of these platforms that help to give eyeballs to young artists," I think he meant artists, "I've stayed cool for the last 2 projects, but this is just not fair." Wow, imagine if I kept that on. You had caps for like the whole last bit. Oh my gosh. Now, what do I think about this? If I'm being honest, you know, he's absolutely right. Let's just keep it funky. We can speculate and make up the rumors and put 2 and 2 and 5 and 5 together all day long to try and figure out what happened with this Meg situation, who shot who done it, who framed Roger Rabbit, or who framed Roger the Stallion or Meg Thee Stallion or whatever you want to say. Like, I don't know. But the reality is that nobody's been convicted for this. Tory hasn't been sentenced. Tory hasn't been to jail. There's, you know, really no concrete proof. And bear in mind, I said concrete proof that he actually did what he's being accused of. At this point, it's just all he say, she say. I know there's a trial going on at the moment, and it's being delayed due to COVID and whatnot, but like nothing's really developed in a way where anyone's going to jail or anyone's getting convicted or anyone's been shown to be lying or stuff like that. And I think for billion-dollar companies like Spotify and Apple Music are like the main ones, and they're billion-dollar companies, I think for companies like that to be blackballing an artist based on he say and she say is, in layman's terms, that's just very unprofessional. And it kind of shows that you're letting the word of the internet influence how you run your company. And I don't personally know how that would fare in like a boardroom or in an investors meeting. I don't think you could really say like, oh, we're doing this because it was trending on Twitter last night, so we gotta act fast. Like I think it would work like that. It just doesn't really make sense. Realistically, if Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music or anyone like that was still playlisting Tory in the way they did before, I don't think anyone's going to cancel their subscription. Like, let's be real. No one's canceling the subscription. Let's be absolutely honest with ourselves. There might be these, couple of fake social justice warriors that'll pretend they would, and they'll be out here, riding hard and saying, yeah, kill Tory, cancel him for the rest of our lives and all this and that. There'll be those people, but in reality, they're not really doing much. They're not doing... The majority of people ain't really doing much. Like, these platforms are not going to lose out by giving Tory the fair treatment. I don't think anyone looks at them in a better light for doing what they're doing, apart from, of course, those social justice warriors. I don't really see much people on social media saying, yes, this is what Tory deserves. This is how it should be happening. He does not deserve anyone to listen to his music. I mean, it happened the first time when it first came out, when he dropped that first album where he was talking about her. But I think since then, I haven't really heard anyone say, like, oh my gosh, you guys listen to this Tory album? Like I haven't really... Those type of notions have kind of evaporated into thin air, essentially. So I just think that it's very detrimental for a company to operate in this fashion, because like, what happens in the future? I'm sure there's going to be another situation like this. I mean, so any girl could just make up, I'm not saying she made it up, but any girl could just make up the fact that an artist like raped them or sexually abused them. Is Apple Music going to not playlist that person because of that rumor? Because the rumor was made and then it started to trend because people kept liking it and retweeting it on Twitter, and then people start getting behind it, and then they're going to get behind it because they say to never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Are they going to blackball this artist without even him having a fair trial, without fact checking what this girl's saying to see if it's true or not, without waiting to see if he's convicted? Or they're going to see the video of her crying and it has 5 million views, because that's basically what's happening right now. Like, that's basically the situation that we're in. There's just no concrete proof at the moment. And when you really break it down like that, it just sounds ridiculous, right? It just sounds a bit ludicrous. Again, I'm not saying Meg is making up the story. I'm not saying I'm not saying any of that. I'm just making a point. So don't get me confused. I don't know what the situation is there, but all I know is we don't know what it is. Exactly. I don't know what it is. So you can't be making decisions like this when you don't know what it is. I just think this is Tory's livelihood. This is how he eats and provides for his family. And by platforms moving in this fashion, it kind of like blocks his blessings, like, for loss of a better word, literally and metaphorically. I just think without any convictions happening or taking place, they're essentially just doing this based on what Meg said on that IG Live when she came out and said all of that stuff. So at that point, as I said, any artist could just accuse any other artist of doing something. Kalani could say Drake was touching her up in the club, and then they could just blackball Drake. And it's clear that there's no one, really governing how these platforms are handling situations like this and handling people's music. And it's kind of scary. Like, they could just do this to any artist if they wanted to. And it doesn't look like they have to give a reason why or explain themselves. They didn't provide a reason for why they did it to 6ix9ine, even though we know what that was. But yeah, it's a bit crazy. I mean, I hope the situation gets sorted and it gets resolved and Tory gets his music out there and all that. But I just think it's an extremely dangerous game to play, and it doesn't really benefit anyone, to be honest. But let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. Do you think that Tory Lanez deserves to be blackballed and these streaming platforms are doing the right thing? Or do you think that these streaming platforms are full of BS? They don't know what they're doing. They're just following the crowd, and that they need to back it up. You let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subs. You already know what time it is. You can follow me on my IG at LiTTyENT __. You can follow me on my personal at the only LiTTyENT. If you care about what I do when I'm not making these bangers for you. I post updates on Twitter as well, so you might as well follow me on there, because what else do you do with your life? Absolutely nothing, mate. Stay black. And if you're not black, stay whatever race you are. All right, bet. Peace.
Oh, you ain't know I could sing?